How's it going, everyone? I wanted to continue my series of build guides with the Kraken. I was one of the top 100 Kraken players at some point in the beta, not that that probably counts for much. But I found this build was really helpful with me for getting used to the Kraken as just kind of like an all-purpose thing while I learned his mechanics, strategies, abilities, all that kind of stuff. I hope it does the same for you. So let's get cracking. Sorry. I'll stop cracking those kind of jokes. Alright, I'm sorry. This is just cracking me up. We start off again with, who are we talking about? This is the Kraken, evolved's second and thus far most disturbing monster. He was originally called the Grounder before being changed to the much darker and more Cthulhu-inspired current version. Now, where Goliath was meant to be the iconic poster boy, the Kraken was meant to terrorize you in your sleep. So, what's his role? In the last video, we talked about how Goliath's role amongst the monsters is the mobile fighter. You try to do that with the Kraken, and you end up as sushi! Instead, Kraken is evolved's first frickin' wizard. Alright, we won't officially name his role as frickin' wizard. Let's call him the Flying Caster. But where Goliath could be compared to a greatsword berserker, this time I don't want you to compare Kraken with your typical squishy wizard who dies when anyone gets close. I want you to picture a dark and creepy wizard dude who flies around casting lightning spells and spitting screaming balls of magic from his mouth. What, you've never pictured that before? Contrary to what you might think about a caster, the Kraken is actually not a glass cannon. His decent armor and health pools, which are more than the Wraith, but just a bit less than the Goliath, plus his ability to stay in the air and away from some of the most deadly hunter weaponry, allow him to stay and survive in surprisingly long engagements. So, what are the Kraken's core abilities? In the Goliath build guide, I explain that each monster has two core abilities, with the other two being supplemental or niche, and the Kraken's abilities continue to fit that model. As a flying caster, the Kraken wants to stay in the air away from hunters while wrecking them with powerful attacks. As such, far-reaching, heavy-hitting abilities, and ones that allow him to keep that distance, are his best assets, making Lightning Strike and Vortex his core abilities. Vortex keeps the hunters at bay, while Lightning Strike brings the pain. Aftershock and Banshee Mines are those supplemental abilities, with their purposes being further explained in a future tutorial video for the Kraken. So now what you're really here for, the build. Please remember that as with the Goliath guide, this is an all-purpose build that serves as a baseline for newer or average players. If you want more advanced builds, tips, and tricks, you're going to have to check out some of my future vids. At stage 1, you want to start with 1 point in your core skills, Lightning Strike and Vortex. Vortex is your go-to ability for killing packs of creatures or for keeping hunters away from you if you're not ready for a fight. When you are looking for a fight, this is when Lightning Strike comes into play. It's also useful for safely killing larger or elite wildlife. Your last point should be spent in Banshee Mines, which can be helpful for killing wildlife or for leaving behind a trail that can damage or distract hunters. You have a few primary options for perk selection. Damage resistance is always a great choice while you practice with a monster. Once you do have the mechanics and abilities down, switch to damage boost for nuke level lightning strikes or cooldown reduction for the ability to spam your heavy hitters more often. When you hit stage 2, spend 1 more point in those core abilities. The damage from lightning strike really starts to hurt now and is your best bet for taking hunters down. Another point in Vortex causes it to do a surprising amount of damage as well as increasing its radius, making it more reliable for knockbacks and even group knockbacks. I'd recommend that as a beginner or a more average player, you spend that last point in Aftershock now just to round out your abilities and for those just-in-case moments. At stage 3, you become a true Cthulhu-esque horror. Finish off those core abilities with another point in each, and Lightning Strike becomes a death sentence. Vortex becomes massive, doing a lot of damage while easily hitting even moving or dodging hunters. Put that final point in Banshee Mines, since they supplement your in-flight combat more than Aftershock, and can be a hefty source of damage for hunters that do not focus them down. And now for that summary. Stage 1, you want Lightning Strike, Vortex, Banshee Mines. As a perk, you want damage resistance, damage boost, or cooldown reduction. Stage 2, you want Lightning Strike, Vortex, Aftershock. And Stage 3 is going to be Lightning Strike, Vortex, Banshee Mines. And that's it for the Kraken build guide. As always, I hope this helps make your Evolve experience more enjoyable. If you have any further questions or comments, feel free as always to leave those below. I will be making more advanced build guides, tips, and tricks at a later point, so subscribe if you want to see when those come out. Other than that, go get Kraken! Literally!